Hello, welcome back to the We're Not From Hollywood podcast. I'm Brandon Reines.
Hi, I'm Faizel, and today we got Geordie Cheeseman on with us.
My pleasure. I love anything that has to do with you guys.
So yeah, Geordie is an actor from Edmonton. The first time that I met Geordie and worked with him was on Grotesque, where he played the guy that was shot outside the bar in quite a memorable scene. But he'd done some stuff before that, and you're a retired military guy, and you're a professional bodybuilder, and have led a very cool life. So I don't know, maybe to start off telling us how your military life led into you wanting to pursue acting.
Well, actually, acting was something I wanted to do before the military. But when I was 17 years old, living in the interior of BC, the unemployment rate was so high, the Army seemed like a really good job. And I ended up doing that instead. It only took me about 27 years to get back to it. Now with a good military pension, I have all the time in the world to pursue the acting.
So did you just, at 17, you just like found your nearest recruiting base and you just signed up and you were like, send me to boot camp?
Well, I was still in high school. So I actually ended up joining the reserves initially, the militia, at the age of 17. And I did that for about 5 years. And during that time, I had a tour overseas in Bosnia with the regular force. And when I got back, they offered me direct entry. And then I went regular force. And from there, I did another couple of decades or more. And I've always loved the acting, though. In 2001, when I was posted in Winnipeg, they were filming the Winnie the Pooh movie called The Bear Named Winnie with Michael Fassbender. And they needed a bunch of soldiers for that. And man, my hand was up fast.
What? Hold on. What? Winnie the Pooh movie with Michael Fassbender and a bunch of soldiers? I gotta look this up. Were you part of the acting program at when you were in high school?
No. Well, it was Salmon Arm, British Columbia. They had, they kind of had a drama club, kind of didn't. And the only play that I tried out for and got the role was canceled. So, I didn't actually get to do any acting really until after the military.
I mean, I think if I'm remembering correctly, the first time I saw you, before I even met you, I saw you in 1984 when the Walter Dale was putting it on.
Yeah.
Was that like, how long had you been acting before then?
When I left the military in 2016, it took me about a year to get my momentum going. And around 2017, I started looking for acting jobs. So I found an agent, and I was cruising the social media platforms, looking for jobs, and just grabbing anything I could get, no matter how small it was. Actually, I kind of still do that.
You actually auditioned for something that I was directing. Because I remember that's the first time I ever heard of you or saw you was you submitted a video audition for something. I can't remember what that was. But I remember you didn't get the part, but I remember you stuck in my mind for future things. And then when you popped up again for Grotesque, I was like, oh yeah, that Geordie guy, like him. Do you remember what that was? I don't think it was Pop.
Was it something with Neil Chase in it?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think I've ever done anything with Neil Chase in
it. No, I can't recall.
Yeah, I've never seen or any of those, right? Those came after.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those weren't those. I wasn't involved in those. But basically, yeah, I started to seeing buzz about you because you just be online and stuff. So you're definitely good at marketing yourself and getting your name involved in a whole lot of projects, which is great. I just like seeing that kind of ambition in people because there's a lot of people, whether it's writers or actors, they want to do it, they say they want to do it, but they just don't put themselves out enough that they don't kind of go anywhere. So it's great that it's if there's a movie, you're involved, you're definitely one of the more active people in the industry, and it's paying off because you're getting sweet roles.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I have lots of time to do it. See, a lot of people, they still have to, have that income to pay their rent and buy their food, right? I'm in the enviable position where I have all that taken care of.
Thanks to the Canadian military.
Yeah, that's right.
Sweet military pension. Was the military how you got involved with bodybuilding as well, or was that like a before high school kind of thing too?
Well, I've always been interested in fitness. It's kind of funny. I grew up on a farm and we had a seasonal well that ran dry 4 months of the year, so we're a hauling water. So teenage Geordie, high school, puberty, I needed showers, right? So I would jog to school in the mornings off my mountain. It was about an 18-kilometer run. And I'd run in, have my shower, and then I'd ride the bus home. And I think I really got started on exercise then, just out of necessity.
Just running to school.
And the infantry, that's what I did in the military. There's no room for bodybuilding there. We're all built like dire wolves, We never have a chance to put muscle on like farmers.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of marching, a lot of like running around.
Yeah, and you couldn't watch your diet because you go overseas or you go and exercise. There was never any norm or routine that you could really stick to. So you're not going to find a lot of bodybuilders in the infantry.
Interesting. So then what got you interested into like getting into the specifics? It's a lot of work, like it's a lot of education. I'm like slightly familiar with fitness, not a lot, but like to be a bodybuilder, you got to pay attention to everything, like everything you put in, everything that goes out.
Chicken and rice, baby. I exercised all the time. I love exercise, but I wasn't really noticing results. So I think it was 2018, 19. I decided to get a trainer, and she really turned me around. I mean, everyone knows you got to watch your diet, but you just really don't know how much. But yeah, I've cut a lot of things out of my diet. I don't eat gluten. I mean, I'm not a celiac or anything or intolerant, but I don't eat gluten. That's a huge thing for me. And sugar, salt, and put me on an exercise regime. And, and then she said, hey, do you want to compete? I'm like, no, I don't want to compete. And my wife at the time, Naomi, she's like, you're going to do it. Just do it. So I'm like, all right. So I bought the whole package. Got the diet, the fitness, the posing, the suit selection.
Did you enjoy all that?
Well, maybe not so much the suit.
I think I've seen some pictures from those days on your Facebook, I think.
Yeah, there are. Yeah. I mean, you don't come much
compete?
closer to being a stripper than wearing one of those things.
Hey, listen, I mean, one way or another, you're getting $1.
Do you still compete?
I do. Funny thing. November that I'm not doing the November competition, but I'm on the poster for it. So I'm.
Oh wow! They're just like, this guy looks so good. We're putting him on the poster again.
Well, I'm the token old guy in the poster, so
So what was your very first, like, we'll say, like, what's your first, like, actual, like, real movie acting gig?
I have to say it was Moments in Space Time with Chris Cowden out in Cold Lake. It was a real experience. I had a role with recurring scenes and lines, and I was so ecstatic about that. I was so worried about memorizing the lines and just getting it all down that I did it over and over and over again. So I didn't have a single word off. And I thought that, that was probably the biggest thing you had to do with acting, but it isn't. But at the time, I thought it was. And John Rhys Davies, who plays Gimli in Lord of the Rings, he played my father-in-law.
Oh.
And it was that was my first role.
That was really good. Did you find it easy to like connect with him and get into the role of like a son-in-law, or did you find like it was like a rough go for you the first time around?
I think that was more of a name drop than anything, because his relationship was mostly with my daughter in the show, and I was only in the same room with him a few times, but he's a very amicable guy, very funny, and he lives on the Isle of Man or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's where I want to be in my life, living on an island somewhere. Somebody wants me for a role.
The Isle of Man, a nudist colony?
Isle of Man?
That's news to me.
I gotta look this up. Hold on. No, I must be wrong. I must be thinking of something else.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's off in the Isle somewhere off there.
Yep, it's in Britain somewhere, way off over there.
It's in between Ireland and England, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, somewhere around there. They got a bunch of islands there. Someone's got to map it out.
I wasn't going to guess and embarrass myself where it was.
So after that role, what made you decide to jump? Did you just start grabbing just anything that came to you, or did you start did your agent start funneling you more stuff, or how did it go after your first role?
Well, agents really don't find me roles unless they're paying jobs. I do a lot of independent stuff. Am I selective? Yeah, I would say I am, but I don't turn much down either. I love the idea of the character. I love supporting the vision of the director and the writer, and I just want to see what I can bring to it. I see them all as a challenge, even if it's just a cop standing there. You know, I mean, I could raise an eyebrow or something. You know, I just love being in front of the camera. It took me a while to acknowledge that.
You obviously you were part of Grotesque, and you ended up coming back in Grotesque 2 playing a bigger part with the same character. So, and quite a pivotal part in the Grotesque story. Why don't you tell us about how that came about?
Well, I was in a series of movies called Spearfishing, where I had the lead, and I knew a guy named Kelly Krause, and I knew he knew this guy named Brandon Rhiness that was off doing all these horror films and stuff. And I just kept seeing the posts on Facebook, and I said to Kelly, I was like, "Hey, would you be able to like maybe introduce me or kind of just maybe get me in there?" And I believe he did. I believe somehow he said something to you or something or someone, and then it got me on the Grotesque set. And yeah, when I first got on set, I noticed how relaxed and friendly it was. It was great. I mean, I still obviously didn't slack on my character. Yeah, so I was like a guy knifed in the street. Yeah,
Technically, you were knifed, although we changed it to you getting shot.
That's
Um,
right.
so yeah, but yeah, I think it written in the script it was you've been stabbed, but we added a gunshot in there that you were shot.
Yeah, and without giving anything away in Grotesque too, I really enjoyed the return and my vengeance upon Dangerous Dan and Mildred Moyer. And, it was a lot of fun.
And you were also the main character in what I hope is going to be finished sometime soon, a horror show. You actually get to put on a mask and a wig and, get up there in the ranks of Freddy and Jason as a modern day slasher. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was fun. It was I had Jason in my mind the entire time I had that suit on. Right, it's that slow motion kind of threatening kind of presence that except when he had to. So he was either slow mo or moving very fast, and I wanted that very fast to be kind of terrifying, like slamming someone's head in a door or something like that, you know. And
Zacharias Cook.
Zacharias Cook. And thank you for bringing me in on that because I also helped produce some of it.
Yeah, Geordie actually was instrumental in helping get that made. We're in post production right now. We're basically just waiting on sound and music. It's like could be any day now, or it could be months ago. We're kind of out of money, so we're in a spot where I can't force it. But it's I have so many people asking about it. Like pretty much everyone who was in it. It ended up being the whole point of it was going to be like a very stripped back, simple production, and then it ended up just being like way bigger than I expected, and pretty much it was almost on like grotesque level. So like every actor in Edmonton was like in it at some point. So it means anytime I have a conversation with someone, they're like, "How's the horror show coming along?" It's like, well, hopefully soon, because I've been showing little bits to people, and like Faizel has a death scene in it that's quite memorable. So yeah, I think some of the kills in that are honestly like legendary. When it comes out, it's gonna turn some heads for the kind of people that like that kind of thing. But yeah, Geordie helped produce it, and he was the main character in it. And yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, and when you do a production and it takes a while for it to in post to get it out. I mean, to me, everything I work on is like a torpedo being fired into the dark. You never quite know when it's going to hit the mark, but you always know it's going to be someday.
How do you practice your craft of acting? How do you stay sharp in terms of like being able to connect to because you play all these different like very out there characters. I don't think you play like I don't think I've seen you play like a typical dad character, although you did play a son-in-law, I guess. But how do you practice these out there characters?
Well, I go through the lines, and it's not so much the memorizing now for me. Now it's more context and inflection, and I'm so comfortable in front of the camera now. I don't even think of it being there. Initially, I was a little nervous about it, and I did start off with mostly dad roles. Sometimes if I play a crazy guy, I'll go my own way. But if not, I use guys like Gary Busey for like inspiration. You know, he's a little crazy with his hair all over
Yeah,
the
he's
place.
got the hair, he's got the teeth a little bit.
Right? Or Walter Goggins kind of has a funny, crazy kind of evilness to him too when he wants it. You know, it's almost comical, but he's so good at it too. But yeah, when I did Mad Dog for the Elks, I kind of just dropped I just kind of surrendered myself to the role, and I didn't care how crazy I got. I think I could go crazier if they call me back. You know, want me to do it again. But I don't know. I imagine the character in my head, and then I just be that character. And method acting too. You know, I mean, you hear really good actors, Tom Cruise, whatever you want to say about him, he's an amazing actor. You know, that guy when he does like a vampire, he'll live like one a month before. Now, I'm not that crazy into the method acting, but I do. I do put myself in that role when I'm at home. Drove my kids crazy with the Mad Dog practice.
Yes, tell us about
You
that. So
just like yelling.
you were Mad Dog, who was the kind of mascot for the Edmonton Elks football team. Tell us how that came about.
Well, I was approached by a couple of guys, Josh and Owen. They hired by the Elks to do a fan conduct video. I don't know how they latched onto my name or where they heard from me, but they reached out to me directly. And there are a couple of other guys that you would know. They auditioned for it as well. And they like the energy that I brought to it. And it doesn't hurt when being in shape too, right? Because you get the veins standing out in your neck, right? And it's just you look a little more insane. Yeah. So at the beginning of every home game now at the Edmonton Elks at the stadium there, they show this 4.5 minute video that has Mad Dog in it, telling everyone how not to behave in the stadium. And
So you're being watched
it's
by
got some
like
humor.
tens of thousands of people like at every game.
On a regular basis.
Yeah. It's funny. All the things that all the roles I've had, I don't think they've had the visibility as they have for this
Yeah.
fan conduct video. And
Yeah,
Is it on YouTube? Like where can people? I've seen it online. Like where can people watch it?
Well, you go to the game 5 minutes before the game starts. They air it.
Oh, there's no way to watch it online or anything.
Yeah, I think I could post it, but yeah, no, I'm on the jumbo screen there.
Oh, nice.
Just
You're
5 minutes.
basically part of people's childhoods, I feel like, because like in 10, 20 years, there's going to be a generation of kids in Edmonton who are like, remember that Mad Dog video they used to show at the Edmonton Elks like thing?
Well, I wish it would be that prolific or go on that long. I'm hoping they call me back maybe next year or they air it next year too. We'll see.
I think Mad Dog should get his own series.
Yeah, they really should give you your own like series of commercials where you're just like
champ. Ever since I was.
Have they brought you out for any Elks events or anything like that?
So the initial plan with the Elks that I was told was that in that first game, they're going to have me do something live, like maybe chase that guy around with the watermelon on his head and then wrestle him down, smash the watermelon right in the middle of the field. And I was pumped for that. Man, I was just all ready for that. But it didn't happen for whatever reason. And so, I went to a couple of the games, but there was talk about having me as their fan conduct mascot. But nothing materialized past the video. So you never know. Maybe someday.
Probably got plans in the works coming down soon.
So next year you have a big project coming up that's slightly outside of your normal kind of role. I wrote a script, and Laura Fuentes, who people hopefully remember from Grotesque 2, that's going to be her directorial debut. So maybe tell us a bit about that role and how different, how you're going to approach that, because it's kind of different than your usual tough guy thing.
Well, yeah, my character, his name is Oliver, and your film, of course, right now is titled My Year of Nothing, and I'm the guy next door, who's the main character. She's a younger lady, Laura, and she's going through some life changes, and I'm there, kind of like a mentor, kind of moving in as a close friend, a proximity friendship almost, but that grows into something more. And that character, I don't know. I think and I've talked with you about this. I think it's just going to be Geordie. It's going to be me, because I imagine me living in a house, and this girl moves in next door, and well, she doesn't move in. I actually move in. She's just somebody who starts talking to me, and I talk back, and that's what I would do. I'm a friendly guy, and yeah, it gets into some awkward situations here and there, but in the end, I'm a nice guy. And I think that kind of, I mean, not to be big-headed, but I think that kind of summarizes me, because I always try to put my best foot forward in life, and always have open-minded thoughts on things. And I'm really going to enjoy playing Oliver.
Yeah, we're trying to raise money for it now. So hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll be shooting sometime next July. I'm giving up the directing reins on it and just going back to being screenwriter, which is kind of my favorite thing. So I'm still exhausted after Grotesque 2 and how much work that was. So even a year from now, I want to take a bit of a break. So we're letting Laura take the reins on this one, and I think she's going to do a great job.
And that's a good thing. As you get more and more momentum with your writings, delegation, I think, is key. I mean, you've got so much on the go, and you don't want to work yourself too hard. You're gonna stem those creative juices.
Yeah, it is. It like direct, especially when I'm directing and producing it. It's like I basically go for a whole year where I didn't really write anything because I'm just working on one movie. Whereas if I'm not, I can write 12 things, because I want to be able to kind of do what I like. And also part of it too is like when you have someone else, like when you write something and you have someone else that sees something in it and they're like, I want to direct this, it kind of like verifies that it has something to it. Whereas if I'm just directing my own stuff, I get to the point where I'm just so far gone, I'm writing all this crap that no one really likes. But hey, if I'm directing for myself and raising the money, everyone will just kind of follow along. Whereas if I have a third party that's like, I have the choice whether or not to do this, and I choose this script, it means that there's something good about it that another person sees. And it kind of just brings a different set of like talents to it, a different vision to it. So I've had that before, John 3:16 and Core Values and some movies that were done by other people. And so there is kind of, rather than just always directing my own thing, I kind of like to just have other people do it. And so, yeah, I guess we got to hope for the best. And it'll be it's probably not on the same level as Grotesque in Grotesque 2, but it's a fairly ambitious project. So there'll be a lot of jobs for everyone.
How about yourself, Geordie? Are you looking to do writing or directing beyond acting, or is acting like what you have dialed in?
This coming up soon, a friend and I'm not going to say, I can't give details, but a friend and I, we're going to produce a movie, and it's pretty exciting. We've already started working on it. It's just going to be a ton of fun. It'll probably be shot between now and the end of spring.
Is this part of your travels that you've been going on? Is this connected to your project?
Well, kind of. I'm doing it with Constantine, the guy I went with, and we talked about it on the airplane ride home. Now, the trip I did take to California was so much fun. Holy man. Spent the first week in San Diego and then the second week in Hollywood. I was telling people about going down there. I want to make connections. They're like, oh, you're just going to walk into a studio, or who do you know, or, stuff like that. But no, I went down there and I asked around to see where a crew went after they were done shooting. So I went to those bars and those pubs, and I struck up conversations with people. And we have a lot of people interested now coming up to Alberta to film. Whether they do it or not, I mean, it's just talk, right? But they, when they look at the money they can save, they're like, ooh. And yeah, a lot of great actors up here can fill in the roles, right? I mean, you always need a star that's going to come probably from the US. But yeah, we've got a lot of interested people, and a couple of leads in acting roles down there too. So
this movie of yours, are you like directing it? Are you producing it? Are you just acting, or what's going on with that?
Well, the guy who wrote it, he's going to direct it. He's somebody we've worked with before. He was a DOP on numerous sets, and he's got some real skill, a real eye for the camera. And Constantine and I, we know what makes movies look good, as well. We just have kind of an idea for that. So we're looking at the casting and props and locations, and well, I don't have to tell you what you need to produce, but it's yeah, we're pretty excited about it. and we think it's going to turn out well. And
Is it a
who knows?
short or
Maybe we'll
feature?
do something after. It's a feature.
Oh, nice, sweet.
Yeah, I can tell you more about it offline.
Yeah, keep everyone waiting because details will come in the future.
I have a pretty cool role in the film too. I'm going to be a gunslinger, so it's just
Nice.
a la Ed Harris.
So what else is in the future for Geordie then besides the movie? What's coming up?
Well, I mean, I've got Brandon's one coming up in the summer, and got lots of films coming out right now in the festivals, and I do hope that something's going to come down the pipes. They're shooting the John Bonet movie right now in Calgary, and or maybe it's a series, I'm not sure, with Clive Owen, and I've auditioned for a couple of roles in that, but didn't hear back. Hoping for bigger movies, something that's going to hit maybe the screen or Netflix or something, you know. So
Always for that next rung up, basically, right? And like move on up the ladder.
right, but I can't just wait for those big ones.
No, you
lose
gotta
the
make those
skill.
opportunities happen.
Yeah, you lose the skill, and it's more about being comfortable in front of the camera. I found for me that was the biggest thing, not about keep my mind sharp to memorize, not because I can immerse myself in a role without doing a bunch of other roles and staying fresh on it. That part's not a problem. It's just that easygoingness that you can have in front of the camera.
That lack of like awareness, like you said, being able to be comfortable in front of the camera. I agree. It's such a skill that like it's that other skill that they don't tell you about when they tell you about acting that you then have to develop once you get on set and you're like, oh, wait a minute. I gotta learn how to be comfortable here.
Very, very short story, if you don't mind. I was on a parade square. I had this really tough sergeant major, like right out of Full Metal Jacket, and he was screaming at us, walking up and down, pacing, and then his phone went off, and he went from rah, 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 to yes, dear, yes, yeah, I'll get the bread on the way home. You know, and it was really funny. And then you'd hang it up and you'd be like, rah, 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 rah. And it was, it's just.
It sounds like an SNL sketch or something.
Yeah, I know, right? He's like, we need to get this guy's wife on set.
That's a great idea. We should.
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned that, I've had a comedy sketch show. I can't remember if I even mentioned it to you guys, but I've been working on these sketches. I want to do like a SNL Kids in the Hall kind of thing, but one thing at a time. Yeah, thanks for being on the show, Geordie. You're definitely one of the more active actors in Edmonton, and I hope that everyone gets to see you appearing in more projects coming up in the future.
Yeah, well, I certainly look forward to it. I'll jump on any opportunities that get me going.
Right on. All right, well, we'll see everyone next time, and have a good one.
Thanks,
Take
Brandon.
it easy, guys. Yeah, we got to figure out a sign-off.
Keep
watching the skis.